So, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to another scene for the living world of darkness. Rage across New York. So much rage. Grr. But yeah, in the wake of the battle with the Bloodbane and everyone having gone their appropriate separate ways and whatnot, thankfully 10 Point didn't have nearly as much cleaning up to do as Haraya did. She washed her hands off and was pretty much set and good after that. So while he's down at the lake doing his thing, she is up the bank a ways and propped around back of one of the trees, just kind of at ease, sort of trying to be, anyways. Dear Mom has hunkered herself down at the roots of a tree and leaning back against the trunk, and maybe, just maybe, with her knees pulled up and her arms across them, is kind of propping her cheek in her hand and looking maybe just a tad more worn than usual. She's got just a little more of those I don't know, you call them Maury lines, but yeah, essentially that little dark under the eyes. Looking a little frayed, but definitely at the very least looking a bit tired as she just sits there propped, drifting a bit.
And through hazy eyes, the redness. No, I'm not going to do that again. Through the woods a little bit, where she is. There's a few trees, not too many. She'll see very happily, in fact, skipping through, kind of just going in one direction, stopping for a minute, turning around, going back, kind of like wandering a bit. Like she wants to know where she's going, which she doesn't really. It's pretty obvious. She stands out enough. Helena herself doing what she does best and forgetting where she's going. Kind of looks around. Pretty lost. 10 Point can see this. It's a little bit funny.
Yeah, she'll adopt kind of a tired but still very amused little smile watching Helena like skip along. She's going to a place, but where was she going? Maybe she wanted something over here. I don't. Yeah, she definitely takes an amused look.
Like, was it the RV? No, it was no lake. No, it just came from the lake. Couplet? No. And she finally just wanders around, and you see she clicks on to 10 Point, and she spots it and just waves.
She'll get a wave in return, not like the enthusiastic over-the-head flail that I imagine Helen is pulling off.
That's what she does. That's exactly what it is.
That is her thing. No, 10 Point just kind of picks up a hand and does the finger waggle, still grinning faintly, still above and beyond everything else, just looking somewhat tired and but certainly in a good mood, because Helena just has that effect on people.
Yeah. And so she'll come skipping over, running, half skip, half run. Just that bright smile on her face. Like, she's ridiculously happy. Still, as you can see, she's a bit like wet. Like she's been washing herself. Like, her clothes are drenched in blood. There's still bits and pieces of like dried blood and stuff under her chin, like in the nooks and crannies on her face and stuff like that. She just comes and like slides on her knees in front of 10 Point, like almost perfectly.
She gets a broader smile for it. And Tempo will at least make a point of dropping her hand and sitting herself up a little straighter. Obviously making the effort to be like, I'm awake. I'm totally awake right now.
She smiles brightly, and then you see like it fades from her. The cogs are turning. I mean, you always know when the Helena cogs are turning because her face kind of scrunches up a bit.
Got that thinking face.
Thinking for a minute. Hey!
And 10 Point can't hear her, but she can She can see the
You
oomph
could
she's
tell
putting into it.
she's trying to shout and then waves her arms a little bit, smiles happily.
At some point, it kind of snarks a bit, trying to shuffle down a laugh, and then kind of brings her hands up briefly, clasping them over her ears, and then goes to pull another small notebook out of her bag. Just those cheap little, flippity ones you can get from like the dollar store, and a pen. And knowing darn well what happens when you try to talk and can't hear your own voice, uh, she'll just scribble quickly, you know, on the pad and turn it to face her. That the battle has deadened my ears. I can't hear. And then we'll offer the pad over, like pinched in her thumb and finger.
She takes it and smiles, and she writes down on the pad in return. She knows, like, and turns it around. That's actually surprisingly like pretty damn quick at writing. It's surprising. She doesn't do many things quick. This she does. And it's like scribbles it down. Even then, it still looks pretty damn neat. Flips it round instantly. You can see there's like a full fucking half page already written.
There's just kind of the helpless shrug gesture offered up. And for what it's worth, 10 Point's handwriting is a little weird. Um, it's definitely legible. It's just that, I mean, she learned from the nation how to do those things, and I imagine that there's a lot more of older style print to her handwrite as opposed to like just the very modern quick scribble that most people do.
And she basically says that she heard, lol.
Does she actually write lol?
Yes.
And I will let you you can either perception alertness or perception empathy.
Oh, I'm perception and empathy in that. Because Eleanor's good at
Or
that,
in
all right?
general.
It's her best role.
That means I should probably make sure we're set up somewhere.
Oh, sorry, he's the last one, and we were just in dice roll. That's fine.
Okay.
That's 2 successes.
Yeah.
Boom.
As much as she doesn't seem especially fussed about her ears, I guess she's got the inclination that it'll come back. But 10 point looking really worn thin. Like she's still nested up against this tree, and she's made a point of sitting herself up a bit, like someone does when they're tired and trying to pay attention. But yeah, there's just those little telltale lines of strain and the a bit of that dark tinge under her eyes and everything else. She's not looking so hot compared to her norm. And while she is certainly entertained by Helena and is not doesn't seem to be grumpy, it's easy to tell that it's just a little slower. It takes a little more processing power than normal.
And with that processing power, that's all you get a chance to read of the half pages. I heard, lol. Before she's already noticed and turned it back around, flipped the page over, and started writing something else again. She turns around and said, like, are you alright?
And she'll snag the little pad and just pause a moment before writing simply on it, can't sleep, and offering it back. She just keeps, instead of like displaying it, she just like plops the pencil on top and offers it across again so she can read and reply.
She reads it. Kind of looks a little bit inquisitive. Raises an eyebrow.
She'll hold out her hand again. And when she's got the pad, we'll first write visions, and then after a moment, right below it, nightmares, and offer it back over.
Because this is funny for me. All right. You see as she reads it, she starts saying something. Obviously, 10 Point can't hear it because she's deaf. And the just sits there waiting for an answer.
The eyebrow kind of quirks. She'll reach out and tap the pad.
Oh. Right. Starts scribbling down on the pad again. Before handing it back and like, I don't know, it's quite concerning, like the look on her face. She looks worried, if anything, and just kind of underlined like where you she put nightmares, she just put a question mark on it.
And she will start, again, probably having to flip the page because it's a very small notebook, and apparently Helena writes really big. So she'll flip it and write, "It'll be easier when Aiden comes back up here. I'll be able to hear and talk through him." And then, oh, God damn it. And then we'll kind of pause. And actually just hands that much back, glancing, kind of tilting around to look around the tree towards the lake. Because, yeah, that would make it... Oh, God. I forgot my shit was set to speakers.
And so, with that...
that perfect cue, glaring from 10 Point's head, as Aiden is walking from the lake, still shirtless, wrapped in a little cloth, carrying some of his armor and weapons and stuff. With that perfect cue of that blaring in 10 Point's head for her own imagination and thought. Aiden is walking up, still cleaning some of his body. Lets his hair with a big long flick, letting some of the braids loose and stuff. And we'll see the two girls and just walk over very casually.
Helena bumbles with excitement.
Tipway will receive him back over with a smile. And pointedly, well, he's definitely coming. Time to look back at Helena. Or anything, really.
Hands are looking nice today.
Hands are just fascinating. We should look at them more often.
Well, you can see after she's done bumbling, yes, that is the correct word, deal with it, imagine it. Let your imagination run wild with that one. She kind of looks down at the pad, just kind of looks totally fucking confused. Just like, what?
And 10 Point will shoot through the link, just the vague idea that Helena is asking about the nightmares and her sleeping, and it's probably easier for him to talk to her than for her to fill that entire notebook explaining.
He'll rub his face as he walks over, going blah. Basically, what happened is 10 Point had some visions. She sometimes has them. Maybe it's a gift from Stag itself, you think, or maybe Gaia herself. She saw flashes of he kind of rub his chin again, looking at 10 Point.
There's definitely kind of the on, like, please, for the love of God, not the other part. The warning on the sept, maybe, but not the other part. She'll freak out.
Basically, what she saw images of the bloodbanes trying to creep into the cairn itself.
Helena looks at Aiden, looks at 10 Point, looks back at Aiden, looks at the notebook. You've been, like, spying? Reading? What? Like, squints her eyes really suspiciously.
10 Point will nudge through that she doesn't mind as much as he's comfortable with telling her about the mission. Because that is, in all fairness, what seems to have sparked the nightmares. Got too close, got burned.
Like, how?
Basically, what happened is... Take a drink. For some reason, he has a drink. because it's Aiden. He always has alcohol. He'll turn. We went on a scouting mission out in Staten Island. Staten Island is enemy territory, essentially. It's where we had the big battle with the Hellhole. It's still there, even though greatly weakened. But we went down a scouting mission to report on some of the stuff that well, he'll shrug. Basically, 10-point Doc a bit too close.
And for what it's worth, 10 Point will be nodding along as if she can hear Aiden, probably because she can follow the thought line as he's speaking.
Yeah, you can see the pauses, and sometimes when you're in there, the Banes and the Worm can leave effects. For example, when I was in the Hellhole, when I went on a scouting mission there, we could hear things, see things. You could hear the whispers of the Worm trying to tempt you. 10 Point, because of revisions she receives, it's also a gift but also a curse. I think it makes her that much more vulnerable to them.
And she'll echo in his head, the Worm knows its own.
He'll turn and look at her and echo back in his head, not yet. Not till she's one of us. He'll turn and look very evenly at 10 Point.
She just kind of, whatever exchange is going on, because it's fairly clear that there is one. There's like eye contact and whatnot. She just kind of gives a light nod of acceptance and goes back to just studying the two of them and Helena's reaction.
Helena. All right. So Helena, she closes the notebook. She stands up, kind of looks at, takes a step back and looks at him like really squinty-eyed. So you did a thing. And now you're like telepathic? Oh God, can you read my mind?
No, he'll put a hand on her shoulder. 10 Point. Some theurges have that connection. Some theurges have that.
But you're like.
I don't think she understands the pack link, Raya.
We're linked. Okay. Come here. Come on, sit down. Story time. Go on. He just grabs 10 Point and Helena's head and just thump down.
10 Point's already sitting.
Well, sit down lower.
She will. Yeah. He sits down and she'll curl up and nest on up against him like she do, because she's needy.
So yeah, Helena gets to like the sit down, you know, and Aiden will sit down cross-legged as 10 Point drapes over him, all like clingy and stuff. And he'll say very calmly, when you join a pack, Helena, there are certain things, connections that totem provides for you. Say when you join Colin's pack, for example, we'll just make it easier. Your connection to Fox, that totem can give you specific things. One of those things is called a pack link. So you're all connected to each other. You can hear each other's thoughts, feel emotions, see where that person is. It's your bond with each other.
Oh. Oh God. I am going to turn into a cynical asshole.
You're not. You pat her knee. If anything, it might help you understand Colin better. That way you can better help him.
There's an echoing nod.
10 Point agrees. He just pats 10 Point head.
Oh, that's weird. That's really weird.
It's not like it's open all the time, Raya. She will have privacy.
It's not like it's open all the time. You'll have your own privacy as long as you can control it.
Oh. Right. I mean, that's useful, right?
You can. It can save you life. It can save your life if your pack knows where you are.
I still think that's weird.
It is initially at first when you're first doing it, but you get it. In fact, you almost get comfortable because it's just nice. You know what I mean? It's nice to know you can feel there. Like, for example, if you're upset, your pack can rally around you and feed you positive emotions.
Oh. 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 So I was thinking like some crazy mind control.
No, God, no. Oh, Jesus.
I don't know.
No. It's like a bond with all of each other. It's when you join any pack, it goes for the same thing.
Like the hive. Like, that'd be so weird.
No, well, you're all connected, so that way you can. It's like how you notice how wolves are able to communicate with each other easier. It's sort of like maybe the spiritual version of that,
Oh. Oh. Right. It's kind of calms down. You can see like she relaxes a little bit after accepting that.
You just nod and smile. So, what are you two lovely ladies chatting about?
I can't
She was
remember.
asking about the nightmares, Raya. I
Oh,
thought it be cautious in explaining. I don't want her to think.
no. What happens when you go into places like this? This is why you have to be really careful, Helen. No. You have to be really careful because the worm can touch you at any point, any time. Just because something doesn't register as something of the worm doesn't mean it's of the worm. You have to be careful when you're going on these missions. And sometimes, even if you're so very careful, the worm's whisper can always find you.
Oh. Right.
But you have to prepare yourself,
Oh yeah, that makes sense, right? It's just like anything.
You just nod.
In all fairness, Raya was all but encompassed by one of those pains.
And by the same merit, it was a close call. There was nothing the amount of 10 point can do because the Bane fucking leapt right on top of her, She was farting fucking fear the whole time, weren't you? Looks over at 10 point with a smile.
There's a marked little frown of like, that's, for one, that's a crude way to put it, and for two, no. So yeah, there's kind of a pouting almost expression in response. She's still nested right up against him. It's not, yeah. She's not going to be like, nah. But yeah, she definitely just adopts a pout.
Oh. I mean, that's understandable.
Different Banes read different things. That's what she told me anyway.
I'm fed on it. I was attracted to it.
It gets it's like a wolf to meat, or like a scavenger to a carcass. It feeds off that,
Yeah. It's just like anything, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like the spirits of all those things. I'm guessing that's like a bane of fear or some shit.
That's what she was saying. Nah, I wouldn't be the best with the spirit side.
Again, there's idle nodding along.
You turn and look at her going, I thought you said it was pretty good. To the packling. The spirit stuff. No, she was nodding along to when Aiden said, "Oh, I'm not very good with the spirit stuff," and then he frowned and turned and looked at him.
No, she was nodding along when he's like, "Well, that's what she told me." She might have still been nodding at that bit. He could.
Yeah, then it turned. Yeah, he does. I'm going for the lulls. It turned, and he was here just back. I thought you said it was pretty good at reading the spirits last time. This kind of hurt voice.
Gets a flush of sympathy. It's not what I meant.
Grumble. Helena will hear him grumble. It's come down the ears.
Gets his gets his tattooed arm patted reassuringly.
It's come down the ears.
Like that's still really weird though.
It might do to reminder that I was only so close because of the Bane skin. Getting that close normally, they would have killed me.
He'll put his hand up as well. Another point to mention, as 10 Point very quickly pointed out. 10 Point has a specific thing which allows her to blend in with other Banes, like a disguise, if you get me.
Yeah, the thing that she did for her fostering challenge.
Yeah.
The weird voodoo mask thing.
If that was you, normally you'd be dead.
Oh. Wow. I'm not making it a habit of going close to Banes.
You better not, or I'll kick the shit out of you. Grins happily.
I haven't even been close to one, so I'm not gonna.
Like I said, young lady, you better not.
I'm not. I don't want to get shit kicked out of me again.
Wait, who kicked the shit out of you? Then there'd be this frown face, like who did?
Yeah, even 10 Point as he's asking that is flicking a glance over like the fuck.
Oh.
Helena.
Hmm?
And ask calmly. Very calmly. Who beat you up?
It was training.
Was it?
Yes. Wasn't Desmond? She kind of turned like pretty sternly.
When she turns, he has those eyes. Do you know those happy, big, jolly eyes? They are met with a familiarity, ice cold, of just like 10 Point knows all too well. He's almost measuring her. Like Helena will feel like as if she's being X-rayed. Training with who?
Simon?
Was this training that was sanctioned, or did he decide to come over and teach the cub a lesson?
No. As far as I remember, Bites the Week ordered me to go to Simon for combat training.
Then that ice measure code stair leaves. That's fine then. But if anyone does decide to come and teach you a lesson, you tell me.
Okay.
Good. Because that's not right. There's no point in beating you up to learn a lesson. Now, being trained by an Arun is different. There's no point in someone taking you aside and beating the shit out of you just because they can. As long as Simon was teaching you properly, then that's the important thing.
She kind of just rubs her left side of her jaw a little bit, just on the corner.
And plus he's in a ruin, so he's going to hit like a freight train.
Yeah, he hits hard.
Yeah, I hit harder. Smirk.
Faint smirk.
Smirks broadly.
What? I mean, I believe it.
Good.
I don't take a lot to spark me out.
Smiled warmly. Runes are runes. As long as you're learning to fight, that's the main thing.
I mean, kinda.
And not? Have you told her yet? We'll go over at 10 Point.
Told her what?
Well, you know.
What?
Told her what you told me?
Kind of stares for a minute. Because I can.
Forgot your R.
Oh. No. I'm more concerned about the whole. It just points to her ear. Like, eardrum's not working.
Do you want me to tell her?
I mean, it'd be easier.
It'll turn into the backling. She wants to join the Fianna.
10 Point breaks into a broad smile and almost immediately will. How close is Helena sitting?
Like, just in front.
Yep, she's been kind of leaned on Aiden, like tucks herself under his arm type thing, but she will promptly lunge out with a delighted smile and snatch up Helena and smoosh hug her.
Helena gets smushed.
She does. She gets scooped up and hugged on. With every evidence of just joy and pride in her expression.
Aiden will walk up between the two of them and just pick the two of them up as well. Big massive bear hug.
Thought we were on the ground. I'm confused.
Yeah, well, I'm standing up, Katie.
Are you scooping us off the ground?
Yep.
I
accept this scooping.
Helena can't really do much. Roll strength brawl. Grapple.
Oh, well, goddammit.
Nah, they'll get themselves scooped up and return smooshed. Or at least so I assume.
Mm-hmm.
But will finally will eventually loosen her hold. But there's definitely some brightness back in her expression, back in her eyes.
Can you put me down now?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Plop.
10 Point loosens up and lets her go.
But, yeah, just... I haven't properly, told Chloe or Bites the Wing yet, so... I mean, I kind of did, but... I don't know, I don't want him to judge me for, choosing so early, I guess.
Choice is your choice.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure they'll be happy with it either way. Say very evenly, very calmly. You can totally peony that if you want, but he will not say a goddamn single thing.
Really?
And I will roll out my nip sub.
My best dice pool. I'm going to roll every fucking chance I get, alright?
So it's 3.
Damn it!
And he looks calm and serene and so blank.
She kind of smiles at that. Oh. Guess I should tell him then.
You tell him whatever you want to tell him. As long as you're happy with your choice and you pick where you want to go, you do what you want to do. Just remember, it is your choice by the end of the day, no matter what it comes down to. Whichever you pick, it's your choice.
Yeah. I mean, you're alright.
Me?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Oh, what's wrong with me?
I'm just making sure.
Oh, I'm fine. I want to go home and fuck my wife because I've just had a big, massive fight, but I'm fine. You grin playfully.
That's disgusting.
What?
Talk about that kind of stuff.
What?
You know what?
What? Can I not be happy that I had a great victory and my chest is thumping like the clappers?
Yeah, that's great and all, but I want to hear about you and your wife.
What? Mrs. Lynch is going to be fucking satisfied. I'm just saying.
You're awful.
My, what fine hands 10 Point has today.
I'm telling you, Helena, here is a piece of advice. This is something I learned from when I was young. There is nothing more satisfying than getting it off with somebody, whichever your preference, straight after a battle.
10 Point may or may not begin turning colors.
You're awful.
What am I awful about? Ask Colin. He knows all about it.
What? I'm not going to ask anybody that.
You could totally ask him.
I don't want to ask him.
Why not?
It's rude.
How is it rude?
What do you mean, how's it rude? You know how it's rude.
Yeah, it's not rude at all.
Yeah, it is. It's weird.
How is it weird?
I don't want to know what happens in your bedroom. That's weird.
10 Point's like drifting around in the back of his head like it's perfectly normal and natural. Whether she's telling him this or telling herself this is anyone's fucking debate, really.
Thank you, 10 Point. See? 10 Point says it's perfectly normal and natural.
Just the shock face of like, ugh. She just looks at both of them.
10 Point doesn't look especially, there's not a lot of conviction going on there. And yeah, with the attention at least briefly flicked her way, yeah. Her cheeks are at least a shade of pink. And her ears. But, what fine hands she has just now.
What the fuck?
Have you ever been to a Fianna party before yet, Alan? Have they taken to you one?
What? No.
Wait till Beltane rolls around. You'll grin. Wink.
What do you mean?
10 Point turns a shade redder.
Beltane is a festival that we all have, Fianna. It's a very enjoyable festival where we like loosen ourselves for a while.
Alright, I'm all down for like learning the new stuff and all that, but the word loosen after what we've just been talking about.
It's representing a fire. Fire is wild and chaotic. And so our representation of regrowth, we Fianna believe that, well, you have to let loose in yourself. Experience every thrill, every joy, particularly on that day because, well, things are growing, things are alive. The world is alive again. And so are we.
10 Point's not even looking at her hands anymore. It's just like, look at that tree way over there. Like, getting worse.
Yeah, I thought that's what you meant.
Oh, well, I mean, one of the ways you can feel alive is to grin at her.
Is
having a good drink.
I don't drink. We've been over this. We've been over this.
We're gonna get you drunk one time.
No, I don't drink.
We'll at least try one.
No.
Oh, I see.
Sooner or later, that's going to cause insult, Raya.
He'll make a pause. Thank you, 10 Point. I was just about to say that. Pats her head.
What?
One of the big things about Fianna, and this is actually serious now, I'm not kidding. Even if you're not one of us, a big thing, hospitality is a big thing for us. So, for example, say you come to my pack haven or a party belong to me that I've arranged, or a festival or something that, you know, and I offer you something and you refuse. To some Fianna, that can be considered a slight.
It's not as though she has to drink to excess. You take a sip.
You turn and just literally pat 10 Point's head. Now, it doesn't mean you're drinking the drink, but it's the symbolism of the offer, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, no. I'm just...
It's just a tidbit to remember, even if you don't belong even if you don't join up with the Fianna. It's a tidbit that a lot of cultures and a lot of tribes forget about, and it's a big thing for Fianna.
No, I get what you mean.
Hospitality is very, very important to us. For example, when my wife first came, there was a formal ceremony that we had to do with each other because of hospitality. But this is the more traditional sense of the word, if you get what I mean. But here, there will be still things that will be kind of expected.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to put pressure on you. Just remember hospitality.
No, I get it. It's just you can see she goes bright like red, starting to.
What's wrong? You grin.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, come on. What is it?
Doesn't matter.
Come on.
I'm a bad drunk, all right?
You're a bad. He leaps forward like an excited Galil right in front of her face. How bad?
Really bad.
What are you, a crier?
No.
Are you sloppy?
No.
Are you angry?
No.
You're a fighting drunk.
No.
You're a fighting drunk. I know. 10 points, she's a fighting drunk.
I'm not a fighting drunk.
Are you a derpy one then? Do you make those weird derp faces?
No.
Then what? Explain to me how you're bad.
No. It's kind of like no.
Well, there's only one way to find out then, isn't there? You wink.
That's what I was hoping you wouldn't say.
Well, the next time there's a party, I'll make sure you're on the top of the guest list.
Oh.
By a formal invitation by Uriah, no less.
That's cheating.
I know it is. He'll grin.
Fine. But you've been warned, all right?
Hey, you can't be any worse than 10 point.
Looks at 10 point. Looks back at Aiden.
You lean right in. She's a bit of a sloppy drunk.
Oh.
Gets all flustered, antlers everywhere, falls over tables. It's quite embarrassing, really.
She just kind of like looks down and like rubs her eyebrow a little bit. Yeah, like I'm sure it can't be worse than that.
I mean, I'm no better, really. You know what I mean? Fuck it. We're not going to judge you. You grin. Merrily. Quite merrily.
I mean, I want to believe it.
What happens at a Fianna party stays at a Fianna party. You say very thoughtfully.
Huh.
And if we do get into fisticuffs, I'll buy you a drink afterwards anyway.
What, after you scoop me out of the ground?
Yeah. Or if you beat me, I'll definitely buy you a drink.
Oh, well, that's not happening.
Ah, don't be doubting yourself yet, Mini-Moo. Do you want to test it out and see?
No.
Why, what are you afraid of?
A lot of things.
You're afraid to spar with me.
Afraid to spar with everybody.
Why?
I don't like getting hit.
Oh, Helena. You grin at her. Yeah. You're going to have to get over that.
Well, I've been trying. It's not like I'm like any of the other people that run around and oh yeah, I want to like Desmond, for example, to screaming, "Oh, fucking hit me, fucking hit me!" Like, no, I want to get hit. I want to hit him.
Stand up there. Let me say something.
Stands.
Put your dukes up.
Awkwardly lifts up her hands.
And he'll hold out his hands. All right. I want you to count it. I want you to do the 1, 2, 3 punch. And then I want you to duck. Okay.
Okay.
So, 1, 2, 3, go.
All right, we're gonna roll for this because I think we need to roll for this.
I'm gonna roll my dex brawl for the when she's about to duck, and you roll your dex athletics.
Yes, we need to do that. Athletics. All right, so she's gonna do it.
Just 2 successes I got.
All right, you ready for this dex athletics roll?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is my dex athletics. Oh
Yeah,
shit!
narrowly misses the slap to the face. I mean, his hand skims by you.
Oh,
Good. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, duck.
oh fuck!
1, 2, 3, 4.
I can't succeed. No.
Yeah, you get a rounded just to the side of the face. No, with no force, just a pop. It'll sting a bit.
Kind of comes back up, ruin the side of her face. Ow.
Was not bad. Now you see the importance of he'll tap her shin with his knee, with his foot. Footwork.
Footwork?
Okay. Hold your hands up, like I was doing.
Hold the hands up.
Now, he'll try and do it to me. And he'll tap her hands 1, 2, 3, and he'll roll his dex athletics.
No chance.
It's like he's air, but his feet just dance back perfectly, like thump. Footwork.
Oh.
You see?
Right.
It's all very good throwing a punch, but there's no point in throwing the punch and then you're leaving yourself wide open, like your arse hanging out in the wind.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah. That makes sense.
So, he'll grin playfully. Use your feet and move to a rhythm. That 1, 2, 3, and then move. I want you to remember that to the point it becomes muscle memory. Even get one of the other cubs to practice with you. Do 1, 2, 3, and then tell them to swing. Every time they swing, you try to get out of the way, to the point where it almost becomes instinctual. You do it every day. And your next training session with Simon, I guarantee you, he won't hit you as hard, or he will at least won't hit you as. He'll probably be faster than you, but at least some way you'll be able to skim out of the way.
Yeah. All right.
Every day.
Oh, okay.
And if I don't see you at the training grounds every day, I'll take Darcy and we'll practice.
Who?
That's about where 10 Point kind of snaps back to attention, snapping a look over.
That's my shillelagh. We'll practice with them instead, which adds more. A war club.
Like a bat?
Yeah.
That's
what
hit with a bat.
And so, are you going to practice every day?
Yeah.
You promise?
You're gonna hit me in the club if I don't?
Maybe. Depends on how hard you promise me.
Kind of looks down to the ground.
I'm not going to hit you hard with the club.
I don't do well with promises.
You lean forward. I didn't for a long time. But if you're going to be in the nation, and especially if you want to be one of us, your word is your bond.
Especially if she wants to be dealing with spirits, right?
What you say to Guru, what you say to spirits, you give your word on something. You break it. Whether intentional or not, Helena. It's a serious thing. No matter what tribe you are.
I get that. I do. So just forget.
Then make sure you remember. Find a way to remember.
I did. Until Bites the Week said I'm not allowed to use that way anymore.
And is it Bites the Week's fault that you're not adapting to use a different method of remembering? Or is that yours?
Mine.
There you go. He's trying to make you adapt to something. A good guru adapts to every situation. A good guru survives. Is that his fault that you're having a strop because he took something that you're so used to doing and you won't do it yourself? Stop thinking of what you can do and start thinking of what you can do, Helena. That's my advice.
Yes, right.
You lift her chin up so she looks into his eyes. Don't be feeling down. And don't be beating yourself up. This is the whole point of you being a cub. You gotta learn these lessons. I don't say it out of meanness or spite. I say this because I want you to make it.
She nods.
Firm nod echoes from over by his shoulder.
She agrees. Smirking over a 10-point. And she'd tell you much nastier than I would. You grin over a 10-point playfully.
She proceeds to look fucking scandalized, like, ah! How fucking dare? Like, yeah, her expression shifts.
She's a mean old thing, I'll dear Meadows. You grin, play. It's so playful. She's just you wake up with her playing violin in your ear every 5 minutes.
And she starts to open her mouth to protest, and then pauses, and thoughtfully tilts her head, and shoots her swag a vague look of alarm.
So don't be feeling down that you got ragged bashed. That's my job. You'll grin at her and boop her snoot.
Okay.
You just nod. Now, I'm gonna go home and fuck my wife. He'll just pick up his stuff and start walking off, whistling.
There's a mild wince.
Fine. Just kind of looks over at that point.
Yeah, she is. This time is not moving to follow.
I'm not even going to say that.
I think I'll stay here, Raya.
Your loss. As he keeps walking to the link. But then he goes serious. I'll be home. And I'll meet you back at the Brooklyn apartment when I'm done with Sheila.
There's a faint nod. though she does at least briefly, for Helena's benefit, goes a little more pink when he's like, well, you're lost. And she's just like, but yeah, she finally gives a faint nod off in the direction of his back because she's holding a conversation that, at a distance, as it were. And, markedly, especially as Aiden, walks himself out of range, kind of deflates. Plops herself back down pretty promptly once he's well out of sight and hearing, just kind of lumps herself down back at the base of that tree. Like as if, well, that was all the energy I had today.
Helena, as she sees Temple, kind of flop, so to say, she does exactly that. I come flop next to her. He ain't got nothing else to do. Sitting at the base of the tree, chilling.
And she'll catch something of a brief, like a fleeting look her way and a grateful expression. And yeah, she will get hunkered next to. I mean, 10 Point's not going to go the full extent of like weaseling up under her arm and shit, but no, 10 Point will actually seem perfectly happy sitting fairly close side to side.
Well, surprise, because guess what's coming for you?
But what's coming for me? I'm scared.
Just going to weasel under the arm. Because she can. Because she's a fucking cub. Don't
she
judge.
Is. She's adorable. Can't even be mad.
Even though she's still got blood all over her, but still.
It's not like 10 Point seems to mind, ironically enough. Yeah, she'll go ahead and, like, as she starts that weaseling process, we'll go ahead and lift her arm, hook it around her, hug her into her side. And of all things, kind of nest down a bit into a very comfortable kind of curl with her back against the tree. Her legs kind of pulled up and in a bit and just comfy. Like, she looks for all the world like she would love nothing more than to sleep, though expression-wise, she's fighting it pretty hard.
That's all I got.
Yep, she will retrieve her notebook and just briefly jot on it. He wants only the best for you. He points it at her.
She nods, says something that 10 Point can't hear. She can probably assume it's her approving and accepting.
I mean, she's not completely... Like, she's not blind. She can get the gist.
True.
So yeah, she'll just kind of nod a vague agreement. And yeah, Helena gets to be cuddled up with Dear Mom. Dear Mom is looking, well, especially with Aiden gone, back to looking pretty fucking rough. And actually stays very close. And yeah, I suppose we will call it there for now. And say thank you, players, for playing, and watchers for watching. We will see you next time on Shenanigans Across New York.